Happy lunch hour, gang. All right, how about we end the month with some good news? Good news if you're a law-abiding citizen, all three of those words being key. Not so good news if you're a criminal. Maybe we're going to have a nice little experiment, if you will, and the rest of the country, the other 49 states, can take a lesson from North Carolina starting tomorrow. If you're not familiar with what happens in North Carolina tomorrow, North Carolina implements, it takes effect tomorrow, Iryna's law. Remember Iryna Zarutska? She was the young lady who was savagely killed on their light rail system, right? Yep. Iryna's law was passed bipartisan in North Carolina's government, okay? Both the House and the Senate in North Carolina passed it. The House had both parties do it. The Senate, no Democrats voted for it. Go figure. And then Governor Stein signed it. It ends bail for violent criminals, and 3 strikes and you're out in 10 years goes back into play. That there's no more of this, gee, promise to show up for court and you're going to be there. Secured bond is the only way that anybody's going to be released. Good. Let's get the criminals off the streets. Now, of course, you get into some of the liberal bastions of the state, Mecklenburg County being a good one, where there's not a single member of the county commissioners who's a conservative. I want you to watch real quick what they had to say.
Brown faced a magistrate in court and was allowed to be released from jail by promising to appear at his next court appearance. Well, 7 months after that, he was then accused of killing this woman, Iryna Zarutska, on Charlotte's light rail. State leaders then passed a law that will now no longer allow suspects to be able to get out of jail without bond. That law takes into effect on Monday, but as Channel 9's Joe Bruno learned today, local leaders are concerned. Joe, they think this could lead to some different problems.
Well, Mecklenburg County officials are preparing for more people to be held inside the jail for longer periods of time. They are worried, though, that this is an unfunded mandate. State lawmakers passed sweeping criminal justice changes after Iryna Zarutska was stabbed to death on the light rail in August.
It's scary for me to read sometimes. I'm like, how did they get out? And so I believe they had good intentions.
The lawmakers cracked down on repeat offenders and got rid of written promises to appear, which is what Zarutska's murder suspect, Carlos Brown, was released on months before the murder. The law goes into effect Monday, and county commissioners are expecting a big impact.
I'm almost speechless about the impacts across the board here.
I see a backlog happening as a result of these arrests, not being able to move people out of the system.
Yeah, they're also worried that there's not going to be enough room in the prisons for them. We're going to need to hire more people. Okay, good. Hire more people. Got a great idea. Stop pissing away money on DEI bullshit and all this other trans parties and stuff like that, and hire more cops. Hire more prison guards. You know, if you tell the public we need to spend money on making you safe, most of them are going to go, you know what? Okay. You know, we're going to have to defund the Pride Parade so we can fund the prison. Okay, works for me. You want to have a parade? Pay for it yourself. There's an idea, okay? We can get all this crap BS stuff stopping people from being raped, robbed, and murdered. Okay. Yeah. We don't have enough prisons. I think one of the counties in North Carolina actually had to end their contract with ICE to house illegals that have been rounded up because they need more prisons because Iryna's law starts in effect tomorrow. And all these people, we can't let them back out on the street. Aw, gee. Okay? I got a good idea. Maybe ICE can use this as an idea, or maybe the state can use it as an idea. It's Thanksgiving weekend, right? And if you remember 20 years ago, 30 years ago, where'd you go Christmas shopping? The mall. Where'd you go shopping this weekend? Probably on your living room chair in front of your computer. So we have all these empty malls. Some of them have been bulldozed. There was one by me that got bulldozed and turned into an Amazon distribution center. But there's still malls, big malls that are empty. Turn them into detention centers. You don't want to put the violent criminals in there? You want to put them in jail? Great. Okay, do that. Put the illegals in the mall. Lock the doors. There ain't windows in those stores, for the most part, at least the interior ones. The flagship stores, of course, that was where the entrance was. Not going in there. You know, you're an old shoe store, jewelry store in there. Good. You know what? We're just locking you in here. If you remember correctly, those had bars that came down in the front, too. The concept. Gee, we're going to have to put 200 people in that old store. Okay, anybody seen the prisons in El Salvador? It's exactly what they do. 200, 300 people in a room. Gee, they're going to get in a fight. Okay, don't care. That's just even more reason to get rid of them. We need to get to a point in this country, and this is a good start. Maybe, like I said at the top, maybe the rest of the states are going to watch this closely. Stop releasing these people. Stop letting them out ROR and saying, oh, gee, you got to show up to your hearing. I mean, DeCarlos Brown, the one who killed Iryna Zarutska, was arrested, I think it was 7 months before he killed her, released on his own recognizance, and told he was just going to have to show up to court. It wasn't held. I mean, how many times? What was this guy? He arrested, what was it, like 49 times or something like this? And then goes and kills somebody. Oh, but these are psych patients, you know, they have schizophrenia or something like that. They don't need to be on the street. They need to be in asylums. We need to go back to the way we were in the 70s, before it was, I think it was the 80s, we got rid of all the asylums. We need to bring that back. Okay? You want to talk about creating jobs? There's a good one. You can be a prison guard. You can be a prison administrator. You can be an insane asylum administrator or guard. Good. I'd have no problem with my taxes going to pay for that and make the streets safer. We have way too many criminals that are on the streets, and it's all because of these judges who are the prisons are going to be overcrowded. If we got that many criminals, then we need to build more prisons. How about that as an answer? Okay. Or there's too many blacks in the prisons. It's not fair. We don't have quotas for crime. Well, gee, I'm sorry, you know, because they're only 15% of the population, they should only be 15% of the population of prisons. No, it doesn't work that way. You're good, you stay out. You're bad, you go in. If 50% of the population all of a sudden winds up black, that means that they did the crimes. If 90% of the population in the prisons wind up white, well, then I guess they were doing the crimes. I don't care what color you are, what ethnicity you are, what religion you are, what race you are, what gender you are, except for the part that men go to men's prisons or women go to women's prisons, and we go back to the biology stuff here. 2, that's it. We're not making furry prisons. Okay. Sorry, you identify as a cat. We determine you're a male. You're going to the male prison. Meow all you want. But Iryna's law goes into effect tomorrow. Good. We have one state that finally realizes we need to get the bad guys off the street. There's been all the talk in the last week about ICE going nuts in North Carolina because there's so many illegals there. How many of you guys live in North Carolina and are worried about, I don't know, getting on the light rail, or the fact that the illegals are committing crimes left and right? How many of you are experiencing housing problems because there's so many illegals being housed? How many of you are worried about your house being broken into because there are so many criminals? How many of you have daughters who you are worried being assaulted, or wives that are being assaulted because of the criminals? How many of you have second-guessed your decision to get on the light rail because of what happened to Iryna? These are the things that hopefully will get put away. We need to build more prisons. We need to get all the bad guys off the street. You want to yell death to America? We got to sell for you. You want to sell fentanyl? We got to sell for you. You want to participate in child pornography or human trafficking? We got to sell for you. You want to rape, rob, and murder? We got to sell for you. I don't care. If someplace is that FUBAR, that 75% of the population of the city is all in jail, good. Because the 25% that are left have a human right to live in a safe environment. Period. On that note, I just wanted to give you guys a heads up, too, in regards to the holiday drive. I know, left turn here. In regards to the holiday drive, as of yesterday, no mail on Sunday, of course, we've raised $3,798.47. I will find out what is going on this week. So if anybody is still interested in donating, please do it quickly, because we will be doing our shopping trip next weekend. So I need everything here by Friday. But I thank everybody who's already donated. A couple more came in the mail yesterday. I got a couple of Venmos here in the last couple of days. So if you're interested, the Venmo link and my post office box address are below. Have a great Sunday afternoon, gang. We'll see you in the morning. Pinball out.